Good evening and welcome to the weekend news. I am Gegbai.
And I am Qwafor. Coming up in tonight's edition of Weekend News, the ambassador of Vietnam to Sierra Leone, Hoang Ngoc Ho, presents letters of credence to President Ernest Bai Koroma.
Environment Protection Agency, Office of National Security and the National Tourist Board hold forum with the people of Aberdeen on the need to protect the Aberdeen Creek.
Stakeholders in the maritime sector mounts investigations into the MV Mahera ferry saga. And the meeting on the problems of drug peddling ends in Freetown. Well, all the stories and more, including the business and sports news, are lined up in Weekend News tonight.
The ambassador of Vietnam to Sierra Leone, Hoang Ngoc Ho, has presented his letters of credence to President Ernest Bai Koroma at State House. Razia Bashkamara reports.
Presenting his credentials, Ambassador Hoang Ngoc Ho said the diplomatic relations between Vietnam and Sierra Leone was established on the 24th of June 1982, and that for more than 30 years, the political relations between the two countries have been gradually strengthening. He maintained that Vietnam and Sierra Leone have always supported each other on multi-international forums, including the United Nations Forum, the Non-Allied Movement, or in other international arena. The Vietnamese ambassador informed President Ernest Bai Koroma that the Vietnamese people always support the people of Sierra Leone in the struggle for peace, democracy, and to be a prosperous nation.
In my term of duty, I will work with my utmost to enhance the cooperation and friendship between our two countries to achieve a new goal, especially to promote and speed up the implementation of the MOUs and agreements which have been signed. I do hope that the Sierra Leone government, ministries, departments, and local authorities will make every favorable conditions for me to fulfill my duty.
Accepting the letters of credence, President Ernest Bai Koroma acknowledged with sincere thanks and kind sentiments that have been expressed by the President Tran Dang Quang through the ambassador for the development of friendship and cooperation between the two countries. He reiterated that since the establishment of diplomatic relations between Sierra Leone and Vietnam in 1982, both countries have enjoyed excellent relations which are characterized by mutual cooperation and respect with multilateral organizations such as the United Nations Non-Allied Movement, among others.
Mr. Ambassador, since the establishment of diplomatic relations between Sierra Leone and Vietnam in 1982, both countries have enjoyed excellent relations which are characterized by mutual cooperation and respect within multilateral organizations such as the United Nations, Non-Aligned Movement, among others. My government welcomes your country's desire to further deepen our bilateral cooperation through investments in agriculture, particularly in rice production, aquaculture, trade, and technology in Sierra Leone. These sectors are integral to my government's development agenda. As we move on with our economic recovery, my government attaches great importance to agro-business, and we are desirous about value addition, not just in agriculture, but in other sectors.
Meanwhile, the Israel ambassador to Sierra Leone Paul Hishon also presented his letters of credence to President Ernest by Nkrumah at State House. The envoy revealed that about 18 months ago, when Ebola struck in Sierra Leone, was almost exactly the time when he submitted his candidacy for the job of Israel's ambassador to Sierra Leone. He maintained that not everyone wanted to come to Sierra Leone at that time, but they in Israel did what they could to contribute to the efforts of fighting the Ebola. The ambassador intimated President Ernest by Nkrumah that Israel sent a mobile medical clinic and their non-governmental organization, particularly Israel Aid, that has been in the country throughout the crisis and that continue to work in Sierra Leone. He added that Israel also contributed almost $10 million to the United Nations Ebola Fund, which was the 6th largest contribution of his country in the world and the largest per capita.
Sierra Leone and Israel have been good friends. And friends stand together, also in the difficult times. That's what friends are. So it is with great pleasure and deep honor that I'm here today, my first visit to Freetown, Sierra Leone, to present my credentials as Israel's ambassador to our friend, Sierra Leone.
Receiving the letters of credence, President Ernest by Nkrumah requested the envoy to convey to President Reuven Rivlin his best wishes for his personal well-being and for the prosperity of the friendly people of the State of Israel. He observed that Israel runs deep in the conscience of Sierra Leoneans, as it is in the land that cradled the two major faiths in Sierra Leone, Islam and Christianity. President Nkrumah maintained that in Sierra Leone they have learned to live in peace and security across their religious traditions, making them one of the most religiously tolerant nations in the world.
Israel is renowned for its great expertise in modern agricultural techniques, healthcare, water resource management, education, and the private sector development. And we seek Israel's support in achieving the goals we have set in these priority areas.
The Environment Protection Agency, Office of National Security, and the National Tourist Board have held a forum with the people of Aberdeen on the need to protect the Aberdeen Creek. It could be recalled that the Aberdeen Creek over the years has come under uncontrolled encroachment by land grabbers whom sometimes encroach without valid documents. The Aberdeen Creek is a wetland which makes it fall under areas that are to be protected according to the Ramsar Convention, to which Sierra Leone is a signatory. The forum took place at the Aberdeen Community Centre. Sheku Sumaila has more.
For years now has been an environmental concern for relevant stakeholders in environmental protection. The cutting down of mangroves, which used to be breeding ground for seafoods, has posed a serious challenge to not only nutritional status of citizens, but also ecotourism, which will contribute to this country's foreign exchange earnings. The environmental aspect is that the mangroves can also prevent flooding. Assistant Head of Information, Education and Communications, EPA, Abdul Conte, explained the importance of Aberdeen Creek to the Aberdeen community and the country. He said the creek used to have many species of birds, monkeys, and other touristic attraction, apart from it being breeding ground for fish and other seafoods. He told them that Sierra Leone is a signatory to the Ramsar Convention, which calls for the protection of all wetlands, the Aberdeen Creek being no exception. He said by protecting the creek, they will be also protecting their own lives and property.
So what is protection mean? We will not forget then till we will the man. They will not for build it, back it and build it, and well all the man will go there. And that's what particular protection mean, because when you don't destroy them. So you know, they will get nothing for protect.
Deputy Director of Disaster Management, Office of National Security, Nabi Kamara, said government has plans to relocate those who have encroached on the creek, but that only those legal papers will benefit. He said government is concerned about the safety and security of all and cannot sit by and allow people to continue to live in enormous danger.
We get key message they hold on prepare, hold on pass on to the brother institution, who go to as to waiting, this mama and papa government not put together for me we na Badina no go inside the water too much. And the one them way get opportunity where go show some amount of documentation for say okay at least place go there for them somewhere.
Head of Operations, Aberdeen Police Division, SP Brahma Kane, said it is the duty of the Sierra Leone Police to protect the people. He reminded the people of Aberdeen of the September 16th floods, which caused disaster in the city, adding that they are ready at all times to give EPA and ONS the required support. Village Chief Aberdeen Vidal Kenik said they are ready to comply, but that government should find a suitable place to relocate them. He said they have even been proactive in planting mangroves along the creek. Emotions went high when community people started expressing their concerns. Almost all of them residing along the creek are without correct documents for them to be there. So if, like what was pronounced by the ONS representative, that only those with papers are going to be relocated, then many will be victims, as was explained by this young lady, Emma Kamara.
Say if they say pass paper before they relocate, well they know they relocate because nobody know get paper. All man and tenant at will you suffer because you want side for you don't. Sometimes the side where you rent no don't suppress you. You see say this little corner and a government gets a government na born me na me mama na me papa na know what the advantage. The guy can't develop. He build, he not get paper. So if government not ready for sorry for we as citizens them, as we not them picking them. Let them not look for paper, let them continue for sorry.
Most of those who spoke said their children are no longer going to school because they cannot afford to pay, since they were evicted from the Tambakula Wharf. However, experts in environmental management insist that there is urgent need for those living in disaster-prone areas to be relocated to protect lives and property, especially so now that the rains are here. Reporting for SLBC News, I'm Sheku Smaila.
The United States Treasury Department has issued sanctions against Hezbollah financial networks in the Gambia, Lebanon, Sierra Leone, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Angola, and the British Virgin Islands. The U.S. Department of Treasury targeted Hezbollah's financial network by designating Hezbollah fundraisers Ali Tajuddin and Hussein Tajuddin for providing support to Hezbollah, if it is confirmed that these people named are linked to welcoming investors affiliated with groups such as Hezbollah, this will no doubt taint Sierra Leone's image as a nation. As a developing story, Daphne Zainab Kamara takes a look at the issue and visited the office of the president of the Lebanese community in Sierra Leone, Samir Assanier. She started by asking, what did he make of the list?
So what do you make of it?
Well, I've read it. There are certain people on that list that I know their names. Okay? I don't have a clue about their activities with Hezbollah. The gentleman whom they call his name Haj Ali Ibrahim is married to a Sierra Leonean lady. He has lived here all his life. He has a plastic business at Sopit. We sell plastic buckets, this and that, and so on. You understand?
So what do you make of the other people, especially those, that the one that was mentioned that has a business, Tachco Limited?
Tachco, they used to have a company here, but now Tachco no longer exists. You can find out nobody's operating on a Tachco anymore. What they did, what happened, I don't know. But I know that Tashkent, they're not operating here.
Do you think that maybe they have changed their names? Because report states that most of the Lebanese, because they don't have a good record, when they come into a foreign country, they change their names so that people don't identify them.
No, I'm not inquiring about that, but I know that Tashkent.
Don't you think this
Fawaz is in Nigeria, he's not here. We don't know Fawaz is in Nigeria. Yes.
Okay. So don't you think this has a tendency to create distrust between the Lebanese community and the Sierra Leonean people?
I don't think so.
Why?
I don't think so, because as far as we are concerned, we are monitoring the situation here. We are monitoring the situation here. We know who is coming here. We find out about him, what he's doing. Like this guy that I called just now. He's married to a Sierra Leonean, as I told you. He has a small business at Sopit, called Equa Street. Equa Street, not Equa Street, Malamatomo Street. Okay? He's been here most of his life. Alright? The others, I don't know them. I don't know them. If you can call the names for me to refresh my memory, I can answer one by one if you want.
So do you have a record of all Lebanese people in Sierra Leone?
Of course we have.
So how do you, like you stated
and we have
earlier,
very good relationship with the American Embassy as well.
and you said you monitor the activities. What if they tell you they're doing this and on the side they're doing other activities? Do you have a way of knowing what they're doing?
We have our own intelligence services here. We are the Lebanese community. And we will not allow anybody to jeopardize the relationship between the Lebanese community and the Sierra Leonean community. We have other people. We are watching the situation very closely. They tend to say Lebanese here, some of them are Hezbollah, because they are from the south of Lebanon. Okay? They are from the south of Lebanon, and whenever Israel attacks south of Lebanon, the people are killed, houses destroyed. But the people that are here, they've been here, the fathers, their grandfathers, they've been here before. It's a continuation. Okay, no new ones have come here to do business. As I told you, this chap, Haj Ali Ibrahim, has been here all his life.
Okay. So tell us, what do you know about Hezbollah?
Hezbollah, I mean, if you study the Lebanese situation in Lebanon, Hezbollah is part of the Lebanese government. They have members of parliament, they have ministers in the government of Lebanon, and at the same time, there are many, many embassies who have offices in Lebanon.
So are they a legal part of Lebanon?
They are part and parcel of the Lebanese government.
So why is...
When the cabinet of Lebanon meets, you have Hezbollah ministers sitting with the Prime Minister of Lebanon, deliberating on matters pertaining to Lebanon. They are part and parcel of the Lebanese government. Hezbollah, you cannot hear anything about Hezbollah terrorizing people in Europe. You cannot hear about anything about Hezbollah.
So you're confirming to us that Hezbollah is not a terrorist?
If anybody has heard that Hezbollah has done anything, there are problems with Israel. You understand? Because Israel occupied some of our lands. Okay? And there are problems with Israel. But I want anybody to point out to me, and I'll swallow my words, that Hezbollah has done any terrorist activities, except between Lebanon and they're not. They say it's not terrorism. They are fighting for the freedom of our properties, our land, which Israel occupied. But I challenge anybody to point out to me that Hezbollah has done any terrorist act outside of Israel and Lebanon. Then you can call them terrorists.
So if they are a legal group in Lebanon, why has America sanctioned these particular names?
Well, I don't know. I was born here. I've lived here all my life. I went to school in England. I hardly go to Lebanon. I went to Lebanon when the delegation went to Lebanon from Sierra Leone. I was with the delegation. I went there to further enhance the relationship between Sierra Leone and Lebanon. And my thanks and appreciation to His Excellency the President, the Vice President, and the Minister of External Affairs and Minister of Information, and everybody who went along with the delegation, because this is the first time we're trying to promote brotherly relationship between Lebanon and Syria. And I'm very happy that the delegation went. And we are expecting delegations to come from Lebanon here. We went there on the basis to invite Lebanese business people, not this Bobo Demo we get there. Lebanese business people to come and invest in this country, so that employment will be created and so on. We are watching the situation. It's our duty to watch the situation here. We don't want anything to happen in Sierra Leone. We are watching the situation. Myself, I'm not a Muslim, Shia Muslim, I'm a Druze. I'm head of the Lebanese community. I've been head of the Red for 17 years. You understand? And my duty is to make sure that the relationship between Sierra Leoneans and Lebanese in this country goes from strength to strength. That's my duty. That's my duty. I love this country. This is my country. I've not lived in Lebanon for 3 years. From when I was born till now, I've not lived 3 years in Lebanon. Okay, I came here. I went to school in England. I came back. I've been here since 1961. I'm 72 years old. I'm not going to allow anybody to spoil the relationship between the Lebanese people and Sierra Leone.
He is the president of the Lebanese community in Sierra Leone, Samir Azamieh, speaking there to our own Daphne Zainab Kamara. The Legal Aid Board and the Ministry of Lands, Country Planning and the Environment is to jointly address problems relating to land acquisition in Freetown. That decision was reached at a meeting with the Minister of Lands, Country Planning and the Environment, Diana Konomani, at a UE building office. The Executive Director Legal Aid Board, Claire Carlton-Hansels, informed the Minister that the board is dealing with over 500 cases related to land acquisition and ownership. This, she says, requires partnership between the Legal Aid Board and the Ministry to look into problems relating to land acquisition to reduce burden on the courts. She proposed a consultative meeting which will include the offices of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Chief Justice and the Sierra Leone Bar Association. This meeting would look into issues of land grabbing, ownership, claims and verification to be determined by the Ministry and the courts. The Minister of Lands, Housing and Country Planning, Diana Konomani, thanked the Legal Aid Executive Director for the initiative, pointing out that her ministry is in the process of cleaning up. Some officials of the Land Ministry said she were in the habit of giving fake documents to people, pointing out that her leadership will not condone such practices by a few desperate people in the system. The Service Department, the Minister also said, is considered as the most corrupt department in her ministry. Councillor for Ward 194 in Constituency 57 Koya Chiefdom, Putlogo District, Ahmed Sheku Bangura, has commended a daughter of the chiefdom, Aisatu Potu Kamala, for her concern for Ebola survivors and orphans in the district. He was speaking during a special ceremony held at Muyuma village to remember all those who succumbed to Ebola in the Koya Chiefdom. Let's join Sheku Sumaila for details of that story.
200 people in the chiefdom succumbed to the Ebola virus disease, which has left many children orphaned by the disease, for which interventions must be made to provide for these children. They need to stay in school, their health taken care of. They also need shelter and clothing. This has prompted a daughter of the soil, a nurse of over 20 years experience in the United States of America, Aisatu Potu Kamara, to intervene so that the children will stay in school. During the Ebola scourge, she provided hundreds of bags of rice to quarantined homes and also, as a nurse, gave universal medical advice on Ebola prevention and control to her people. She has now come to have a database of all the Ebola orphans and survivors to continue her support to them. Clothing is also provided to communities in the Koya Chiefdom.
I just felt the need that in any situation where you lost over 100 people, especially in small villages like this, my constituency, which is constituency 57, the population is not that much. So during the Ebola crisis, if we lose over 100 people, I just feel that it's just too much. So that's why I came today and offer sacrifice in honor of those who died during the time of Ebola. There are several kids that don't have parents anymore, that don't go to school. I decided to help them. That's why we just built a school here in Mayoma. I plan to help build the structure and then supply books, pencils, and if possible, even uniforms to them.
This ceremony at Mayoma village is purposely to remember those who succumbed to the Ebola virus disease, as most of them were not given befitting funeral because of the prevailing circumstance at that time. Special prayers were offered for the dead. Aissatou Putu Kamara said the Ebola orphans and survivors must be given the attention, as most of them are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorders. She called on the community people to give them all the support. Councillor Ahmed Sheku Bangura of Ward 194 in constituency 057, Koya Chiefdom, Poloko District, commended Madam Aissatou Putu Kamara for her concern for the people of Koya. He said Madam Kamara's contribution during the Ebola fight was remarkable, and that now that she has come to address post-Ebola challenges is a welcome idea, and they are ready to give her the support.
It's a blessing to us because this disease is a natural disease. Some people have died because of the Ebola through this disease. And I think His Excellency the President has made a tremendous effort to make sure that he halted this particular dreadful disease. It's a prayer, it's a very good prayer. And she's the only one that sacrificed her money and her effort to make sure that she came from America and also offered this type of prayer for our people.
The remembrance ceremony for those who died of Ebola is a right thing to do, he said, because most of them were not given the required or traditional befitting funerals. Other community elders also commended Madam Aissatou Putu Kamara for her initiative, especially in the area of helping to address post-Ebola issues. Reporting for SABC News, I'm Sheku Smaila.
The Kids Advocacy Network has presented awards to the Minister of State 2, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Honorable Aissatou Kabia. The awards are in recognition of her relentless efforts and excellent contributions to children's development and the fight against Ebola in the country. Hawana Tukante reports.
We are presented to the Minister of State 2 by a cross-section of the Kids Advocacy Network, led by the Executive Director, Edmond Fona. The network was set up to advocate for peace, non-violence, and issues affecting young people. Minister of State 2, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Honorable Aissatou Kabia, thanked Kids Advocacy Network for the thought, saying the network was the first children organization to award her for her contributions to children's development. She said Ebola was the most difficult time for them as it stopped the development drive of the country.
This is my first award from the children of Sierra Leone, so I'm very proud of that. And to be recognized for something you would do on a daily basis for absolutely nothing is amazing. This is the kind of work I thoroughly enjoy, and I know the dividends of the work we do today, has far-reaching effects for the future of our nation. So it's the most important work we must and should continue to do.
Executive Director, Kids Advocacy Network, Edmond Fona, said the awards were done by voting. He added that their organization organized the award to recognize institutions and individuals who have contributed to children's welfare and development. Hawana Tukonte reporting for SLBC TV News.
Investigation has been mounted by stakeholders in the maritime sector into the MV Mahela ferry saga while transporting passengers from Lungeta Green to Kisi Terminal. Abubakar Bangura went to the Kisi ferry terminal to look into the issue.
ferry terminal. Here is the place where passengers board ferries from Freetown to Lungi. But yesterday, there was distress call on board MV Mahera, one of the private ferries here, that something had happened with the ferry. So we are here today to investigate on the matter. But according to reports we are getting, that people from the Sierra Leone Ports Authority, Sierra Leone Maritime Administration, and representatives from the marine sector are investigating what happened on board MV Mahera. The Mahera ferry is one of the private vessels operating within the River Roquel, ferrying passengers, goods and services to and from Kisi Terminal to Tagrin Lungi. On Wednesday, 18th May at around 9 p.m., with over 100 passengers on board, the vessel MV Mahera went aground whilst maneuvering to the Kisi Terminal in the east end of Freetown. Within the course of the incident, distress calls were made by the passengers and crew members. There were fear and pandemonium waiting for a rescue operation. Passengers on board waited for 6 hours at around 3:30 this morning before they were rescued. The Sierra Leone Maritime Administration and the Sierra Leone Ports Authority provided a certain rescue mission that night of experienced officials who ferried all passengers to the landing site for safety, but the vehicles on board were removed later. General Manager MV Mahera and Great Squares Ferries, Alusain Darami, told SLBC that there was heavy wind at sea that triggered the vessel to be drifted to the sandbank.
Actually, yesterday after the ferry download by 9 o'clock p.m., so but when they ready for left, heavy wind been get for blow. So but then try for maneuver, the captain tried for maneuver. You know, it go astern, we go astern, but very close to the dolphin, we get sandbank towards the dolphin. So the breeze been so heavy, now in sweep the ferry go na the sandbank. By then the water bin they go down, that is water bin they dry. So it not be easy for the captain. It forced the engines, they raise them for making go pull out from there, but you not be able because the water bin they go down.
This is not the first time such an incident is occurring on the high seas. Due to bad weather, heavy tide or poor visibility, concerns have been raised by all and sundry over the frequent breakdown of ferries with passengers on board and most times drifted to other destinations. Executive Director, Sierra Leone Maritime Administration, Alhaji Wuro Jallo, said all passengers were evacuated. He said when the ferry was at ground, it caused no threat to the passengers and members on board. An investigation into the cause of the incident has been instituted.
Every day, our eyes on those ferries. We have our regulators, our inspectors. On a daily basis, they are looking at these ferries. Because once they are at sea, we always want to make sure that they arrive safe and then they do the other way. Because we actually have to cater for our people. You know, there are a lot of traffic, you know, in that area. So basically, that is what we are trying to look at and make sure that we have the minimum standards that is required of these ferries to go. Well, first of all, we want to know what happened. We have been in this for a very long time. Of course, this is not the first occurrence. We have got a lot of incidences when ferries go aground. It happens actually, but sometimes we want to know whether in fact it happens as an act of God or it's an error on part of the navigator. Because say for example, if it's like yesterday during that time, it was bad weather. You know your maneuverability is giving you problems. You don't have to come out. You have to stay at the terminal. You should get the understand that I cannot move freely at this time because of bad weather. If I go out now, there's all probability that I will sit on the sand.
But the captain did not.
Yeah, of course. Well, by training, the captain should know that he should not have even taken the ferry out because of bad weather. That's always the training we give to our people, not just even these guys working on board the ferries. Even these local boys, these pam-pam boys, it's what we tell them. Once you see bad weather, don't go out because you never will tell what will happen when you're at sea.
Even though the ferries are faged, maintenance have been carried on a quarterly basis, keeping the vessels up and running in good conditions. Because of the frequent problems with the ferries, most passengers prefer traveling on wooden boats with life jackets. According to reports, all the ferries plying the seas are old. Passengers are calling on the government and the private sector to make available brand new ferries replacing the old ones to prevent sea disasters. According to the Sierra Leone Maritime Administration, the ferry is presently slammed at the Lungeta Green Terminal, undergoing serious check-ins to see whether the vessel is worthy to ply the high seas again. SLBC News, Abubakar Bangura, Freetown.
It's now time for our entertainment news with Mohammed King Milan Bangura.
Hello and welcome to Entertainment News with me, Mohammed King Milan Bangura. In the news this week, a new Sierra Leone movie launched. Sarah loses legal bid to get sole custody of son future Junior. The Taiwanese model drowns. All these and more in tonight's Entertainment News. Welcome back. A model drowns during underwater photo shoot off Taiwan after removing her breathing gear causes an asthma attack. Here's the report.
A popular Taiwanese model, Olivia Ko, tragically drowned after she suffered a bout of asthma while taking part in an underwater photo shoot. Local authorities said further investigation was necessary to determine the exact cause of the accident. Olivia Ko was unconscious when she was pulled from the water during the photo shoot in Taiwan. The 25-year-old mother was an avid amateur diver with at least 3 years of experience. Ko, together with representatives from a modeling agency, Ellen, had visited the popular tropical tourist site for the photo session when the incident occurred in the mid-afternoon on Tuesday. Members of local Coast Guard rushed Ko to the nearest hospital, where attempts to resuscitate her were unsuccessful. May her soul rest in peace.
A new Sierra Leone movie titled Wild Emotion was launched on Friday at the Leon Lodge in Freetown. Before premiering the movie, producer and maker of the movie was introduced to the crowd by Jimmy Yene Bangura Jimmy B.
Say you thank you for you so far, because I know say not easy for the way you do so, especially being a woman, it's even 10 times harder. And a young woman, I just want to encourage you to continue on, because you know, first of all, you get to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody will believe in you. And the fact that you don't take this venture, you know, you get people that like myself and everybody else we don't kind of answer this morning for can support you, for sure say we believe in you. And now you know for let me down, not give up, because believe you me, when you go to knock on the doors, then you go to hear it, but who knows?
The writer, producer, and actress on the movie, Alima Farikan Sese, spoke to SLBC Entertainment Desk about her movie, Wild Emotions.
The pen, Gabo, the...
I don't think you are a knight in shining armor anymore.
The word wild, combined with the emotions, depicts the excess of love, the excess of hatred, the excess of every other thing that you are involved in.
Okay, so in summary, it's something about love and hatredness.
Gegbai, fashion, glamour. You know, the movie, you are going to get a lot of lessons are going to be learned from that movie, and apart from you've got a whole lot of good things in that movie. Combination, a whole package of good camera, good and straight English, decent location. We are going to portray Sierra Leone in a very different way. Even after war and Ebola, Sierra Leone is just Sierra Leone, and we still have good things here.
The boss lady.
You know what that means?
Dreaming about it.
Why should I? When your wicked and some face and arrogant expressions makes me sick.
How can you talk to me like that in front of me? How dare you lift your hands on a woman?
The Irish singer Sinead O'Connor caused concern over the weekend when she disappeared after an early morning walk. Here's the report.
'Cause nothing compares
Irish singer Sinead O'Connor concerned over the weekend when she disappeared after an early morning walk, with U.S. police officially listing her as a missing and endangered person on Monday. Thankfully, Sinead was found safe and well, but was taken to a local hospital, and now it appears she is blaming her ex-partner John Reynolds and their 28-year-old son Jake for her disappearance, threatening to sue her family and claim they would also have to pay all her medical costs. She had been unable to walk due to falling out with them. The 49-year-old singer, who famously tore up a picture of the Pope on live television, admitted in 2012 that she had suffered a very serious breakdown when she cancelled a world tour.
A musical group based in Bo called Black for Conscious has released a brand new music video album comprised of 6 videos. This group was formed years back in Bo and have released a couple of albums. The head of the group, popularly known as DJ Spread, and also the president of Musician Union in Bo, came over in Freetown and spoke to SLBC Entertainment Desk why the music videos so important, especially the hit track Encourage a Woman.
Any woman getting bad treat, find out for the fall around. For any successful man, there must be a woman.
Woman, then need encouragement.
Tell them all, tell them yeah.
Respect them, not them on me. You know, women are vulnerable, but they are partners in development. So that is why we sang that song, Encourage You. You need to encourage your wife, because your wife, she's your partner. You know, that is why. Women, they are like a child. If you encourage them, they will come close to you. But if you don't, they will never be by your side. Stop rape against them.
Domestic violence, you mean?
Yes, that is why.
Okay.
Black for conscious.
Oh, it's on beat.
That was a music video just released by the group called Black for Conscious based in Bo, and they call that one Encourage a Woman. That's all for tonight's entertainment news. I want to say thanks to the entertainment desk, thanks to Aminata Noah Kabia, Michaela Potter, Aja Mariama Kamara, and Link Samuela Thorpe for reading the entertainment news. I'm Mohammed King Milamanga. Till I meet you again next week. May the Almighty God bless you. Bye-bye.
That was King Milan Bangura there with the entertainment news. Now to end news, a quick look at the main points again. Ambassador of Vietnam to Sierra Leone, Hoang Ngoc Ho, has presented his letters of credence to President Ernest Bai Koroma.
The Environment Protection Agency, Office of National Security, and the National Tourist Board have held a forum with the people of Aberdeen on the need to protect the Aberdeen Creek.
Stakeholders in the maritime sector have mounted an investigation into the MV Mahera ferry saga.
And a meeting of the problems of drug peddling has ended in Freetown.
That's all in this edition of Weekend News. On behalf of the news editor, I am Kojo Qwafor.
And I am Anne-Marie Gegbai. Thanks for watching. To have a lovely weekend.
Goodbye.
Wherever the story breaks, count on SLBC for a thorough investigation and analysis on more than meets the eye. With SLBC, it's not just about the scratch of the surface, it's about unearthing what the surface conceals.
Men and women, people of all ages, have witnessed the awesome manifestation of God's presence, power, and His love, rendered in words beyond the written pages.
Why are we preaching like this? Why do we travel all around the world preaching the gospel? Because Jesus is coming again. And He